Okay, how do you discover something that's completely invisible? Something that's been hiding in the very air we breathe for all of human history? Well, today we're going to dive into the incredible story of a scientist who did exactly that.
In 1904, Sir William Ramsay was awarded the Nobel Prize in chemistry for it, and the prize motivation says it all. He was recognized for finding these inert, or basically non-reactive, gases in the air. He literally pulled a prize out of thin air.
And that's the central question, right? I mean, it's one thing to find a fossil or a new planet, but how do you hunt for a suspect you can't see, you can't touch, and you can't even get to react with anything? It's the perfect setup for a scientific detective story.
So to understand the sheer genius behind Ramsay's work, we first need to appreciate the puzzle he was facing. And honestly, his Nobel Prize is the perfect place to start.
Check this out. The prize share here is 1 out of 1. Ramsay received the entire award all by himself. In the world of science, especially for a Nobel, that is a huge statement. It tells you just how massive his individual contribution was considered to be.
So, where did this monumental discovery even begin? Well, like a lot of great scientific quests, it all started with a tiny, nagging problem, a clue that just didn't quite add up.
The story goes that Ramsay, who was a professor at University College London, went to a lecture by another brilliant scientist, Lord Rayleigh. And Rayleigh presented this really baffling problem. He couldn't get his numbers to match up whenever he was weighing nitrogen.
And this right here, this is the heart of the mystery. Nitrogen made in the lab from chemical compounds always weighed a little bit less than nitrogen that was taken directly from the atmosphere. Now look, the difference was tiny, less than 1%, but it was always there. Most scientists probably would have dismissed it as an experimental error, but Rayleigh and Ramsay, they knew it had to mean something.
This was the question that kicked everything off. The nitrogen from the air wasn't just impure. It was like it had a hidden, heavier passenger traveling with it. Some invisible element was literally tipping the scales.
So, the hunt was on. Ramsay decided to team up with Lord Rayleigh to track down whatever this mysterious substance was. It was a classic scientific investigation. Their method was so meticulous, they took a sample of plain old air and then, step by step, they removed everything they knew was in it. The oxygen, the carbon dioxide, the water vapor, and of course, all the nitrogen. And after all that, they were left with this tiny, stubborn bubble of gas, about 1% of the original sample, that just refused to react with anything. So, in 1894, they announced they'd found a completely new element, argon, which comes from the Greek word argos, meaning lazy or inactive. And that's the crucial point. Argon was so hard to find because it was what we now call a noble gas. These elements are kind of chemically aloof, you know? They don't like to bond with other elements, which is how chemists traditionally found new substances. Ramsay had found an element by proving what it wouldn't do. But finding argon didn't close the case. Oh no. For Ramsay, it blew it wide open. He figured if there was one of these inert gases hiding in plain sight, there just had to be more. He actually predicted that an entire family of similar elements must exist. And boy was he right. After argon, Ramsay went on this absolutely incredible run, discovering or isolating 4 more noble gases. He found helium on Earth for the very first time. And then, by painstakingly distilling liquefied air over and over, he uncovered neon, krypton, and xenon. The man basically filled in an entire family of elements, almost single-handedly.
Now, this was way more than just adding some new names to a list. Ramsay's discoveries fundamentally changed our map of the chemical universe, the periodic table. You really have to appreciate how big a deal this was. The periodic table was so well ordered that scientists could predict the properties of elements before they were even found. But there were no gaps for the noble gases. No one even conceived that they could exist. Ramsay's work revealed a whole dimension of chemistry that was completely unknown. And this right here shows the incredible result. Ramsay literally added a new column to chemistry's most sacred chart. This new group, Group 18, it's slotted in perfectly, creating a much more complete and robust model of all the elements. That's exactly why his Nobel Prize motivation specifically mentions not just finding the elements, but also his determination of their place in the periodic system. See, he didn't just find the puzzle pieces, he showed the entire world how they all fit together.
So, what's the lasting legacy of this whole hunt for the invisible? Well, it's a story of incredible curiosity, precision, and just brilliant collaboration. The partnership between Ramsay and Rayleigh was so fundamental to this that in the very same year, 1904, Lord Rayleigh was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics for his work on gas densities that started the whole thing. It's this rare and beautiful example of two scientists winning in different fields for the same shared breakthrough. How cool is that?
This timeline really captures his remarkable journey, from his birth in Scotland to that absolutely pivotal discovery of argon in 1894, and then, of course, the ultimate recognition in 1904. It was a life just defined by persistent, brilliant scientific inquiry.
Ultimately, the story of William Ramsay is such a powerful reminder. It just goes to show how paying attention to the absolute smallest detail, a number that's just a fraction of a percent off, can lead to a total revolution in how we understand the world.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. Ramsay revealed an entire family of elements that were all around us, all the time, completely unseen. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible wonders are hiding out there in plain sight right now, just waiting for the next curious mind to come along and ask the right question?